Interchange. I'm Marieke, and I've been honored to follow you from the back, illustrating here these amazing drawings for these amazing people. And you're here to work with a purpose. You're here because you believe you can make a change, you have dreams. Who feels excited about that? Pretty great. And we've been talking a lot about that. And after this day, or after Wednesday, we're going to let you go into the wild world. And then you go home and you sit at home and behind your laptop or your study books and you think, but I still need a visa and I need a corporate career and someone needs to give me a job and how am I going to do all this? It's good to talk about getting out of the box and get out of your comfort zone and tell your story, and suddenly you might feel really alone, like how am I actually going to do this? So I'm here to talk for 15 minutes, or just here 10 minutes, about 10 practical things you can do tomorrow or next week or in 5 years if you feel ready for it, to start putting your career where your heart is. How do we actually do that? And why am I the one talking to you about that? I'm just an illustrator in the background. Well, I'm going to start with a secret, and I hope you're not going to tell anyone. I'm not actually an illustrator. I have no idea what I'm doing. I never learned to be an illustrator, and it's a big secret because they're paying me now to do it. Until a year ago, I had never drawn something live. I did not know I could do this. I did not know I could hear with one ear and draw with the other hand. I'm actually a master in psychology, and I've been working for 7 years as a professional marketing manager at big corporates like Unilever, and already in sustainability, working for companies like Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So how did I get from being a marketing manager and being in a corporate ladder to suddenly creating like kid-like drawings that anyone in kindergarten can do for you amazing people? I've got no idea. But I do know I did certain things to actually get here. Because 1 year ago I could not draw. 2 years ago I came in Australia, had no friends, no home, no job, and no idea what I was going to do. And that might resemble the situation that some of you are in. So because I have little time, I'm going to get ahead, and I've drawn some 10 tips for you. And before I go into that, the first thing I'm going to remember you is learn to speak up, and we know that. Because everyone that's been standing here has told you. But how do you actually do that? So I'm going to share just the stuff that I did that might help you in the future. Because without this, the rest is going to be really hard. Because if you don't tell your story, no one's going to hear you. What I did when I was 18, every time someone asked me something in public, I got ahead like a strawberry, like red. I felt sweaty palms. It wasn't even speaking in public, it was just people asking me a question. And I could have it now, actually, remembering it. But what I did instead, I thought, but I want to go places. I want to meet people. I want to lead a company. I want to do stuff. So I signed up to be a tour guide at the Heineken factory. You need a side job anyway. You need to earn money anyway, or you're going to have hobbies anyway. So how can you step up in the things you're already doing, but then have public speaking in that? When I actually got the call that I got the job, being a tour guide as a student, I remember being in my shared house and crying. I cried, and not out of joy, but out of fear. I thought, oh my God, I actually have to speak to people now. But I did. I started loving it, and the rest all followed. So how can you learn to speak up in your own way? If you're an introvert, it might not be speaking in public. It might actually be that you want to start an anonymous blog, or just start tweeting something. You can find your own way in learning how to speak up, and start small, and it will grow bigger. I am actually really lost. I have no idea where I'll be in a year, what I'll be doing. I had no idea I would be here. It was no intention. People say, oh, so cool, you started this business of drawing and business. I didn't know. It was not intentional at all. And I think there's a beauty in getting lost, but it's getting lost in the right direction. So you don't have to know what you're going to do in 10 years. You don't have to know what you're going to do in 5 years. But make 3 bubbles on a paper and know what you love. I made these 3 bubbles. It's marketing or storytelling, it's sustainability, and it's creativity. Those are the 3 things I need to keep alive in my heart, or something will die. And every time I thought, I'm just doing one bubble, how can I do small things on the other things? And it made me get lost in the right direction, and that's an awesome feeling. So maybe write down on your paper, what are the 3? It might be, I love music, I love accounting, and startups. Pretty awesome combination. You don't know what it's going to lead to, but if you keep all of them alive, even if it's just carefully, you're actually keeping them alive, and they might work together one day. Because here I am, drawing on sustainable events, listening to business stories. Start small. On my second day in Australia, and people always laugh at me, so you're allowed to laugh at me. On my second day in Australia, I had no home, but I had a temporary apartment in a far out neighborhood. I had no idea where I was, and I was behind my computer. I had Wi-Fi, and I was freaking out a bit. I thought, oh my God, I'm alone. I don't know anyone here. I can't even go for coffee. So I thought, okay, chill out. What do you love? I thought, I have time. I do have time. So can I actually start? What do I love doing? I always wanted to learn how to draw better, like cartooning. So I Googled, I found a cartoon drawing course. It started in 2 days, like the next day. I'm like, oh, cool. So I took a 15-minute bus to some community center in Roselle, where I joined 2 50-year-olds and 2 high school dropouts to do a cartoon drawing class. And I came in, and there was an awesome teacher, though. He was really, really well. He was really good. And he asked me, where you're from, because you can hear from my accent. I'm not from here. I'm from Amsterdam or Holland. And he asked, where are you from, and how long have you been here? 2 days. He was like, what are you doing here? Go to the opera house, see places. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But something in me wanted to keep those bubbles alive, so that's what we did. So start with a single step. What is a small thing? If you love music, go to music events, but also go to events like volunteering on a music event, so you meet inspiring people. So start with a small step on all those bubbles, and you will get places. I learned not a lot on that cartooning course, but I did find one important thing without which I would not be here. They showed me a pen that I can actually make these drawings with, and it's a really special pen, and it's just weird that once you start making sense of it, all those steps bring you something. So start with a single step. Make inspiring friends. Oh my God, it's hard to make friends in general. How am I going to make inspiring friends? That's like high up. I'm an international student, it's really hard. The thing you have to value is, as an international, you've got something so precious. You've got time. When I lived at home, then people have their 60th birthday of their grandma. You've got your old friends you have to see. You have to move your friends home. You don't have that here. You've got time to make friends and look for inspiring places. So that's a great saying by Eleanor Roosevelt, and I hope I can remember it at this stage. It says, great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss event, simple minds discuss people. And you need friends you can discuss people and events with, you need family, you need to go shopping, you need to go to the movies. But it's really important to also meet people that you can discuss your ideas with. And where do you meet those people? Only events that only you find inspiring. I love startups, I love sustainability. So I went to all these events 2 or 3 nights a week. Actually, I saw Avis speak on their Think Exchange event. They're free events. Sometimes they cost $10, a lot of times they cost nothing. It's things like this, so it's so cool that you're here. Because here you meet inspiring people, inspiring friends that share a common interest, and that's really important. I met an amazing friend that's really dear to me now. She's a film producer, and we're now working together in line for a speaker at Avis's Think Exchange event, asking about biodegradable plastics. And we were both in that line, and now she's an amazing friend. So you can go to meetup.com and just put in your interest and see what's happening near you that actually is probably free and combines people that love music or love accounting or love startups, for example. Volunteering is also a great thing. Like I see people volunteering in Interchange. I joined the youth food movement where I met some people. Another great tip is create an avalanche of coffee chats. That's how I framed it in this thing. We talked about drinking coffee with people. Well, you've already learned to speak up, so you kind of practice that. And then you can actually ask people to do coffee with you, to come places. I needed a job. I had no idea what I was going to do. I needed to build my network in sustainability because that's where I want to work. I knew no one. I had that back home. I had nothing here. So I started with one person that I met. I start with your inspiring friend. So start with someone that's close to you. It's really similar to what Tom Dawkins says this morning. Make a friend that cares first, and then ask them, do you know 3 people that I can drink coffee with that are in this scene? Through someone that that was in the youth food movement, who was like a friend, I met her boss, Ben Peacock, who had an advertising agency purely in sustainability. The Republic for Everyone. He linked me to Phil Freeman, who was actually the marketing director of WWF. I met so many people. I actually drank coffee with Avis at some point. I met so many people, but also a year later, Phil for WWF called me and asked me if I wanted to do a job, which was my first freelance job that I could do and gave me the confidence to actually be here and quit my corporate job. Create your own title before, oh, this is the scariest thing, and it's so simple, it's not scary, nothing can happen, so do this tomorrow. I went on LinkedIn and I got this tip from a friend that I actually met by speaking up in a cafe and just meeting someone random who mentioned the word marketing. And I thought, oh, marketing, oh, I'm scared. Can I please drink a coffee with you? Because I need a job in marketing. It became a really good friend. And he said to me, okay, so you like drawing. Okay, well, why don't you put on LinkedIn that you're actually illustrating and creative? I'm not creative. I didn't study to be creative. I did nothing. They're gonna ask me if I have diplomas and stuff. Please, please, all finish a uni degree. It's really, really important. And get a corporate career, because I learned from that as well. But putting on LinkedIn saying that my title is actually gonna be a creative and an illustrator, I just did that before I believed in it myself. I think I did that 1.5 years ago, before I actually even draw an event ever. So do it on LinkedIn or put it on Twitter. You know, you can make your own title on Twitter. What do you love? I'm an environmentalist. I'm a radio geek. Whatever you want, put your own title there. And people start believing in that and it makes you more interesting. You can check out my LinkedIn profile. Be vulnerable. Be true. I put on there, hi, I'm Marieke. I love food, I love design, I love art. I love making change. I came here with nothing. I have a backpack of marketing experience and I don't know what to do. But I do know that I'm lost in the right direction. So if you want to drink coffee with me, please contact. And you can be honest. Really, people value that a lot. Be your own best friend. Love yourself. Oh, I hate all those stories. But what's really important is your brain's gonna protest. Your brain's gonna tell you, you can't do this. You didn't study for this. What are you doing? Go back to your career. You won't earn any money. Help, go to your mom. That's what your brain's gonna say. So buy a book tomorrow. Buy your own notebook, please. And start writing those down. Because if you have a thought, write them down. And then you look at them and think, that's not me. If you really write down what would be in your head all day, you're going to be pretty scared. And you think, I'm not that bad. And then you write that down. And you start writing that counter narrative. And you're just going to write that, I can do this. Why couldn't I do this? Marieke told me I could do this. I believe in all of you. So write down the positive narrative as well. And it really will get you places. So buy a journal. Because you have so much stories in your head. And if you don't get it out, it's going to keep on bugging you. And it will keep on bugging you the rest of your life. But at least you've got your journal to talk to then. Can you work less and explore more? At some point in my career, I actually got a bit sick, not too heavy, but sick enough to think, oh, I had a job at being responsible for Ben & Jerry's ice cream, a sustainable ice cream in the whole of Holland, loved it. And then I thought, what if in 10 years I've only sold ice cream? That's not me enough. So I went up and I said, can I work 4 days? So Ben & Jerry's is partly owned by Unilever now. They said, what are you going to do? Play golf? Drink sherry? Even friends of mine said that. I'm like, no, I'm going to do... And in the end, I got 4.5. No one did that. So are you going to have kids? I'm like, no. I want to do this before I get kids. I want to spend that time on me. And that 1 day a week or half day a week, I started painting. I bought an easel, actually hired a little studio with a friend. And I started painting and creating. I had no idea it would lead to this. It was just a single step. But I knew I had to keep it alive. I was shit at painting. I thought, oh my God, no one's ever going to buy this or like this. And I hated it. And I thought, I'm painting. Why am I not having lunch with my friends? I've got no friends. That's the things you say to yourself. But I'm so glad I did it in hindsight. So can you work less? When I was here, I tried to look for a sustainable job, like a job for Greenpeace or WWF. No one would hire me because I'm international and they don't trust you when you're international. Fine. In the end, I thought, I'm going to switch. I'm going to try to find a job to earn enough money in the least amount of days so I can have the rest of the days to actually do what I love and grow what I love. And that's what I did. So in the end, I had a 3-day-a-week corporate job here and 2 days of that for 2 years. I had 2 days, for 1 year, I had 2 days to do other stuff and grow my other seeds and grow my other areas. So almost final one, invest in your backpack. If you don't know what you want to do yet, I don't have a degree, I can't Photoshop, I went to the cartooning course. You can go to Udemy, for example. There's so many things online that will teach you things for free or for $10 or for $30. There's no excuse to say, oh, I never studied for that. You can study for anything. Look for inspiration. Have a Pinterest account. There's so much stuff you can do. And investing is not money, investing is time. And the stuff you're already doing, if you watch a film, well, watch an interesting film with a friend. How can you make your own backpack fuller and fuller? And the last one, and I actually learned this from a good friend of mine, Eva, who's there in the corner. It's go with the flow. The final thought I want to give you is that I found it really annoying when people started asking me to illustrate things. So in my first year, I arranged a 3-day-a-week corporate job. On the other 2 days, I was going to be the new Steve Jobs of sustainability. I thought, if I don't have my own sustainable startup by 35, I'm a failure, because I can do this. I worked for big companies, I worked for Ben & Jerry's, and I was going to set up a biodegradable sunscreen company. Don't laugh, it's really needed in the world. The reef is dying. But I was working on that, and I was working hard, and I went to all these meetup events to meet people, and I started drawing my own notes. And someone, actually, Pete is in the back of the room, from Digital Storytellers, saw that, and I knew them via the youth food movement, so everything links together. And then they saw me drawing, and I said, oh, that's awesome. I'm like, no, that's just my notes, just my notes. 2 weeks later, they asked me for an illustration assignment. I thought, oh, that's cool, I'll do that, that's fine, but now I have to work on my startup again. Then another assignment came in, and I was really annoyed. I remember talking to a friend and saying, I'm just so annoyed, I just can't focus. I have the one job, and then I want to do the startup, but then all these illustration assignments coming in the way, like I wanted to say no to them. And then a friend said, well, what if you could do illustration for a job for 3 days a week instead of Unilever, and you never have to go there again? And I thought, I can do that. I can't be paid for illustration. I never did that. I never learned to do that. And he said, well, maybe you can. And he planted a seed in my head, and I thought, oh, I shouldn't say no. I should just let go. And go with the flow and do what feels light. Do I love making illustrations? Yeah, actually I do. So do what feels light, and sometimes don't try too hard because you're going to cramp up. Oh, I have to do this. But actually there's something blinking in the corner you actually love doing. Go there. Go to the things, move to the things that have your enthusiasm and have your light. And then I hope someday all of you are going to be really lost, but then in the right direction.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.